I'm an author, motivational speaker, and life coach. And I have one book out that's out right now called He Works All Things Together. It's about the first part of my life and what happened. And I'm currently writing my next book about the next part of my life. And I'm not sure what I'm going to call that one yet, but it should be out in the fall or by I don't know, Thanksgiving time, hopefully.
And what platforms can our viewers find your book on?
Okay, well, if you go online, you can search for He Works All Things Together. You can search for it by name or by my name, which is Rebecca Strom, Strom, as in Mary Stewart.
Welcome to the Parker Daniels Show, where amazing stories are shared.
And be hopeful, hopeful, and he'll make a way. I know it ain't easy, but that's okay.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Parker/Daniels Show. I am your host for this evening, Nicole, the founder of Rose Colored Glasses. And today we have a very special topic that we would like to talk about. So disclosure.
I can hear her. Because Amber's.
If you have any children in the room, we would ask that you let them leave at this time. This video is for mature audiences only. So what we're going to talk about today is sexual attraction as a blind person. And with this video, I'm going to have a very lovely guest come on and speak to us about herself. So let me first introduce her. She is... Hi, Rebecca. It's lovely for you to be on this show this evening.
Thank you, Nicole.
So what I want to ask you first is tell us a little bit about how you lost your sight.
Okay, well, in 1989, when I was 12 years old, I woke up in the hospital completely blind, and I had a lot of other problems, a lot of other deficits. And what happened was I had a brain tumor on my optic nerve that was misdiagnosed by a doctor for a very long time. And then at the very end, when they removed the brain tumor, I lapsed into a deep coma. And anyway, I woke up, and it was a long road to recovery. I'm still working on it, but I feel like I've come a long way.
Okay.
I'm a work in progress.
Okay. So what were some of your challenges that you faced growing up as an adolescent, because you hadn't quite hit your teens yet? So how was it for you growing up as adolescent?
It was very difficult. My parents chose to stick me back in the public school I'd been going to, and there was zero support for me at school, and my parents wouldn't let me use a cane, so I was literally falling down the stairs at school, and I was falling in ditches around town and getting lost, and all kinds of bad stuff was happening. I was getting hurt a lot. And it was because my parents wouldn't acknowledge the fact that I was blind. They wanted to pretend I wasn't blind. And the really frustrating thing for me is that all of the professionals who were in my life back then, there were doctors and lawyers and teachers galore. None of them told my parents, or at least none of them convinced my parents, if they tried to tell my parents, that I should have a cane and learn how to use Braille, or learn how to use a cane and learn how to read Braille. You know what I mean? And so it really stunted my growth and my development on an academic level and a physical level. But then there was all the emotional stuff I was trying to deal with too, you know, just coming into adolescence suddenly blind and with all these other deficits. I was paralyzed on my left side. My brain was like scrambled eggs. There were a lot of issues I was dealing with.
So as facing all of this, one of the things that we talked about off camera was how you felt on the inside, you know, concerning being an adolescent, being, you know, watching other kids grow up, and how your feelings were towards that. Can you share that with us?
Well, honestly, I remember the day I graduated from high school, Nicole, and while my other friends were going on to college and stuff like that a few months later, I didn't have hope of anything because I couldn't even cross the street. I didn't have a cane. Do you understand?
Yes, I totally understand.
And so I really feel like I was shortchanged by the lack of response from my parents to my situation.
Wow.
So,
A little story, and this might help you understand. I think it'll help your viewers understand too.
Yeah, sure. Okay,
I'm in a Facebook group specifically for blind and visually impaired women.
Right.
And in that group, we discuss a lot of issues. And quite a while ago, I guess it's been over a year ago now, I saw a post in there from this woman, and she said, "Hey ladies, at what point do you decide to reveal to the man you're dating that you're blind?" And Anthony, when I saw that post, it broke my heart, because I used to be like that. I felt like I had to hide my blindness. And
okay.
I went on there and I said to her, I said, "Ma'am," I said, "your blindness is a very unique and cool characteristic about you. You should never hide it. In fact, you should use it to your advantage, especially in the dating realm. Our blindness is a huge tool for us because it makes us mysterious. It makes us exciting, intriguing. It's, there's new possibilities when you're with a blind person."
Okay.
The relationship with a blind person you approach things from a different sensuality perspective, I guess. Because since blindness is no longer a sense that can be used, you wind up using your other senses.
And explain, and as our co-host has joined us, explain to us what you mean about what you had just spoken upon in terms of we become more we're able to use our senses to make us more aware.
Anthony, what in the dating world, in the regular everyday world, sighted people, when they are courting each other or flirting with each other, they use eye signals, they use body language. There's all kinds of things they use to signify to another person that they're interested. Well, as blind people, we have a very unique way of communicating sexual interest and sexual feelings. And so I believe that just in the basic courting, the flirting, it's a completely different experience as blind people. But then when you get down to the actual act of physical intimacy, I think as blind people, we have a really neat edge on that because we are more tactile. We do stuff with our lips and our tongues and our fingers, that sighted people can't do in the same way, because we see with our hands and we see with our lips and we see with our tongue, because it's all part of our skin. That's one of the senses that becomes stronger when we're blinded,
So do you think that the sexual encounters with a totally blind person is much better than that of a sighted, doing it with a sighted person?
Yeah, I do think that I've had sex with both blind and sighted people, and I have to tell you, I really feel like sex with blind people is far superior to sex with sighted people, because of the sensitivity thing I was describing to you.
And what preference did you have? Would you have, or have you had, in terms, or was it just both of them?
You mean versus blind or sighted?
Right.
I prefer a blind partner. Both in the bedroom, I prefer a blind partner, and in the domestic living situation, I prefer a blind partner. And I left my husband 2.5 years ago, and after that, I had a live-in relationship with a blind man, and the relationship I had with this man was incredible, because I had a loving relationship without all of the stress of having a sighted partner. Because when I was with my sighted husband, my life was constantly stressful, because I was constantly having to walk around stuff and pick up stuff. My life was completely disorganized all the time because of all the sighted people I was living with,
Wow.
But when I was with my blind boyfriend, my domestic life in my home was so much better, because he would put stuff away. You know what I mean?
I understand that.
So as a blind female, I have, like I said, I have not ever had intimacy or sex, whatever you want to call it, with a totally blind person. It's, for me, since I have lost my sight, not too long ago, I would have to say it depends on the person, because there are some people that you just have that connection with, that, you know, I don't know, for me now, it's our conversation, whether you stimulate my mind, whether you stimulate my thought processes, how quick-witted you are. Those are things I feel like for me right now is a turn on. Because at one point I could do the whole eye contact thing. I could do the flirty smile and the cute little wave if somebody, you know, caught my eye. But now, like Becca was saying, it's a different story. Now I basically have to wait for that person to approach me. Now, I'm not going to say that I'm totally attractive. I will leave that up for the audience to
decide,
judge or decide. But I have noticed that since I have become blind and I cannot do those things like make eye contact or see the person when they're smiling at me, I tend not to notice. So if you do not come up to me and be like, hello, or, you know, you're looking beautiful today, I could honestly care less. I mean,
oh, okay.
I mean, it's not one of those things where before I could see the person nodding or smile.
Right.
So if you literally don't announce yourself or say something to me or, you know, strike up a conversation, I'm literally just kind of like, okay, well, guess, you know, that dress didn't look good today, or that little, you know, something that I could have changed differently to go. So, I mean, it just depends on the person. It depends on the person.
Rebecca, have you ever had those particular thoughts?
No.
Rebecca, have any sighted persons have any type of ill feelings or just hang-ups about dating you because you were visually impaired?
Honestly, Anthony, I never let it get to that point, because I don't if a person makes it clear to me that they don't consider me a person that they even want to talk to, you know what I mean? I don't give them a second thought. I don't let their decision to not want to talk to me or whatever even affect me. To me, if they don't want to, you know, be my friend or whatever, or talk to me, it's completely irrelevant. So I don't go around waiting for people to talk to me, but they just do.
I like that. And I want to go one more and ask, because I've had people ask me this question. Has there been any time where people have wanted to, you know, they've come to you and said, well, I'm curious as to know what it's like to have sex with a blind person? Has that ever been a situation?
It has not, but I've had conversations with many people about sexuality as a blind person. They always find my perspective very interesting and educational.
I can believe that. And why do you think that people are curious, or, and I'm quite sure it may have been sighted people, I may be a bit presumptuous, that why do you think that they're curious about what it's like to actually have sex with someone who can't see?
Anthony, I think our whole society is very sexually frustrated, and I think we have a lot of sexual hang-ups, and as blind people, we've got another one, you know what I mean? And so just like when I went blind at the age of 12, and I think a lot of people, when blindness impacts them, this becomes a big issue for them. Of course, people around us, that's probably one of the first things they think of when they see that we're blind, you know? Just when I go to blind functions, that a lot of us act like rabbits, if that's what you're referring to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
But honestly, I think as blind people, we probably view sexuality different. And so we probably respond to it differently than, I'm not sure what the people you're saying that say
Well,
that about us.
Well, I mean, just coming up, people have said, sighted people have said, blind people, they think about sex a lot. You know, that's basically is on their mind. You know, more so than anything.
I think if people were really honest with themselves and realize the truth about themselves, I think they'd realize a lot of people think about sex a lot, because I think it's human nature. And as blind people, of course, we're sexually frustrated, a lot of us. Okay.
What about you, Nicole? Have you heard that as well?
I have not. Like I told you, I'm a different type of breed. I view sex and intimacy as two different things. The act of sex, I wouldn't say that, you know, that I go around and go, oh my God, I just gotta have it. However, intimacy is a big thing for me. Touching a person, cuddling with a person, just, you know, the whole act of being near someone, that for me is a whole lot better than the actual act of having sex. So okay. I wouldn't say that I'm like, you know, sex crazy or nympho or whatever we're calling it these days. I'm more or less attracted to the more I guess the more sensuality of it versus the actual act.
Okay, I understand that.
What I think I'm saying is, as blind people, I think we are more sensual. You know what I mean? And
that's true.
When we are touching and kissing, and you know, I think we sense more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally understand that. I mean, and this may or may not make sense, but if you know, as far as sighted people, they can look into a person's eyes and kind of like maybe see what they're thinking when it comes to sex. But blind people, they're more so, by them not being able to see, they're wondering, just and are willing to use the tactual to understand a person much better when it comes to sex, because they can't actually see, so they have to use their fingers or something tactile
and that makes the intimacy more stark, I think. You know what I mean?
A sighted person or a blind person can be just as sensual. I don't see where one outweighs the other. It depends on how you handle yourself, how you conduct yourself, the chemistry between you two. You can't just say, well, blind people are more sensitive or sighted people are more visual. It depends on the individuals and how their chemistry is between each other.
Okay.
I think blindness can impact it, though. I think our blindness is bound to have an impact on the situation.
I like this. This has brought about a great discussion, and you know, it could be definitely go on and on. Okay.
So we have a treat out here for our viewing audiences for viewing this video today. We want to know some of your comments in the section below about how do you feel about a blind person being attracted sexually, and what are some of your comments on and your thoughts on, you know, what you do? How do you react to a blind person versus a sighted person? And also for our sighted viewers, how would you even approach the subject of dating or actually, you know, hanging out with a blind person and getting to know them if you seem to, you know, be walking by and think that they're attractive? We want to know some of your comments, and what we'll do is we'll pick out the best comment and we will actually send you a copy of Becca's book. So you guys leave your comment in the section, and we'll see where your thoughts are. Anthony?
Well, that's I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to giving away the book. So come on, y'all, definitely comment. I want to thank Becca for coming on the show and blessing us with her story and telling us a little bit about her book. We're going to bring her back at a later time. And Rebecca, do you have any closing, anything you would like to say before we end the show?
So, Anthony, I appreciate the opportunity to come on and share my thoughts, and I really enjoyed talking to both you and Nicole, Anthony. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you. And to my audience, I want you all to continue to hit that notification bell. Continue to subscribe, share, follow, like, and help make this show one of its kind. And I want to thank my lovely co-host from Rose-Colored Glasses for assisting me. And thanks a lot, girl. You did a good job. And again, Rebecca, thank you. And if there's any...
Yes, I am hopeful for today. Take this music and use it. Let it take you away.